As practitioners, we spend countless hours helping our clients prepare physically for birth. But what if one of the most important factors in a positive birth experience has nothing to do with stretching, strengthening, or even a birth plan? In this week's podcast episode, I sit down with Ama Karikari for a powerful conversation about self-trust, self-advocacy, and helping women find their voice during one of the most transformative moments of their lives. This episode challenged me to think beyond the physical present preparation for birth and consider how we can help women feel truly empowered by their choices and experiences. So, if you work with pregnant or postpartum clients, I encourage you to listen to Ama's insights and expand what birth prep might look like for your own clients. Before we dive into this interview, I want to remind those of you that have already taken the postpartum body course that the advanced postpartum techniques online course is available for registration for a live cohort that'll add 2 or 3 live calls with me and supported emails to encourage you to get through the material. And the Advanced Postpartum Techniques course really dives into treatment techniques for the nervous system. There's a new technique for the sacrum that I use every day in my practice, the tailbone, the first rib, the OA. These are our special techniques that can really be beneficial when your clients have issues in these areas. And so I really encourage you to join us. We will do a complete review of every technique in the postpartum body course in our first call. So that alone is reason to sign on up. So if you're interested in advancing your postpartum techniques, please join me for this summer's cohort. All right, let's dive into this interview. Hello, friends. This is Lynn Schulte, and you are listening to the Birth Healing Summit podcast. We are here for meaningful conversations that will transform the way you work with pregnant and postpartum clients. Whether it is a new perspective, tool, or technique, you'll be able to implement it into your practice today. I invite you to sit back, listen with an open mind, and grab the golden nugget today's guest has to offer. Now let's get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Birth Healing Summit podcast. And today I'm honored to have with us Ama Karikari. She is an author of A Silence to Soaring, and she is the leader of the Soaring Sister community. Welcome to the podcast, Ama. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much for the work that you're doing and making sure that mothers are supported in their most vulnerable moment when they're giving
Thank
birth.
you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you. And so we are talking today to other birth professionals, people working with mothers that are birthing. And so I'm curious from your experience and what you know, what is the best way for us as practitioners to support our clients to have the most empowered and supported birth, helping them to stay in their authentic self as they go through this most challenging experience probably of their lives, right?
Absolutely. I'm so glad you asked that question. I think what's going to be so key is holding space for their discussion of their own experience. As we all are aware, very often, especially within the context of motherhood and birthing, women are invalidated all of the time. No, oh, you feel that way? No, not really. It's just normal. Oh, it's okay. You just
Oh,
have the jitters. Like,
and it drives me nuts, Amma, that women go in and go, "Oh, I'm feeling pushy." And they go, "Oh, you can't be pushing yet." Like, "Oh, I'm
all the
feeling this."
time.
And they completely disregard what women are
Disregard.
experiencing in birth.
Invalidate as if they are not the experts on their own body.
Body,
So if I
yes.
had to give any advice, it is listening and validating. Listening and validating. What are you experiencing? How are you experiencing it? What is it that you want to come out of this with? Just listening and holding that space, because unfortunately, in most cases, they're being invalidated in other ways. They may be
Yeah.
invalidated by their spouses. They may be invalidated by even their well meaning moms and aunties. I mean, I remember going, like dealing with all these contractions and my ex-husband saying, "You're so dramatic. You're so dramatic," etc. And it's like, you don't know what I'm experiencing. Oh,
Right. I know, right? Well, I'm thinking of like some people, so a couple of scenarios here, right? We have the women who are meek and mild. And
Mm.
and they're going to be quiet and they don't have the I really think in birth we have to release the roar and we have to get into our animalistic part of our
Primal
being, primal,
beings.
yeah, which is that this is what's happening to me and being more assertive in their experience and sharing that. And then another scenario of I'm in this medical system, the doctor is God, and the nurses are here to take care of me, and I just need to be a passive participant in this experience. And so how do we, as practitioners, better support our moms to help them to find that animalistic part of them, to find their ability to express themselves in a way
Yes.
that gets them heard?
Yes, we have to encourage them. We have to encourage them and say, this is your life. This is your baby. You're bringing life into this world. This is the time to speak up, to scream. This is not the moment of suppression. This is the moment of expression. I remember even my
Yeah.
own mom, who's a phenomenal human being, she was so, I would say, inculcated by the medical system that even though
Mhm.
she was a midwife in Ghana, and I'm sure had she went to, I'm sure, like a school that was set up with the British, but had she tapped into indigenous midwifery in Ghana, she would have been able to not be so medicalized in her thinking. I remember when I was having my second child, and the only way that I really was able to manage the contractions well and feel better was by getting on all fours. So I'm there
Mhm.
getting on fours, and I want to give birth that way. And my mom goes, "You can't give birth that way," because she was so used as an obstetrics nurse in New
Yeah.
York for women being on their back, legs up, which is convenient for the doctor. And
Yeah.
I gratefully had a midwife, and the midwife said, "Yes, she can. She absolutely
Yeah.
can give birth that way." So that's an example of my intuitive body wisdom said,
Yes.
this way on all fours is going to allow for some reason my contractions feel better that way. Like I just knew
Yeah.
from my body that my
Yeah.
contractions felt better. But I was
Well,
being told, my mother said no until the midwife corrected her and said, absolutely. And I gave birth to my second son on all fours.
I love
But
it.
that is an
That's the
example
best
of,
position.
yes,
Absolutely. I love that. And so the most important piece you said there is that's it felt good to my body to be in that position. And that's one thing that I'm sharing with my clients all the time is your body knows. Your body knows how to get this baby on out. And if we can follow that path of ease and comfort, and I put comforts in quotes because birth
yes,
is very uncomfortable,
in
but
many
when,
circumstances.
right?
Again, we want to leave ourselves open. I'm praying my next birth will be orgasmic. And whenever
Yes.
I meet women and they're like, they're probably like, what's wrong with this freak? But I text them. I'm
No.
like I'll meet a pregnant woman and then I'll text her afterwards and be like, wishing you an orgasmic birth, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
But people can have orgasm during birth and then give
Yeah.
all that oxytocin to their babies. So I'm putting it out there that not all
Yes.
births are the same. Certainly for me, my first son versus my second son, very different experiences. However, they can all be beautiful and we can trust our body in the process. I'm not saying don't listen to doctors and midwives at all, but also trust yourself. See yourself as
Yeah.
having unique expertise.
Absolutely, because nobody knows your body like you, and nobody
Exactly.
knows what you're experiencing. And so you're all about communication and getting your point across. And so when a client is saying, I'm feeling pushy, and the labor nurse is like, oh, you can't be pushing yet, what's the response? How do we encourage our clients to
This is why
stand up for themselves?
I'm so grateful that doulas exist,
Yes.
because this is when a doula can intervene and serve as a liaison. Like, I am not going to put the onus completely on mothers during this time of so much confusion to be like, hey, I said I'm feeling pushy. Like, I'm not.
Well, especially first-time moms, they don't know, right? They don't
Exactly.
know that this is actually a pushing thing, you know?
No. But
So,
that's where the doula can be the intermediary.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
why where a midwife who is what should I say, pro mother, conscious, holistic, etc., can say, okay, let's figure out how we're going to
yeah.
do this.
Well,
Again, we
but we
need that
know,
support.
I know, and we know that, 99% of people are giving birth in a hospital. And I hate to say that my trust in the hospital system to support us, and especially in birth, is really going down the tubes lately. Just from the experiences I'm hearing from my clients and what they went through. And so I feel like this hospital system, and I know every hospital is different, and every provider is different, and every labor nurse is different. And I do know that what a woman experiences in her birth is not the first time they've experienced that situation. It's usually a repeated situation. So if you as a child were never listened to by your
Um,
parents, it's going to show up in the birth unless we've done the work to empower ourselves and heal that part of ourselves. And so I think as practitioners, one of the things I want people to understand is that we need to help our clients, our pregnant clients, to do their own work.
yes,
And
yes.
so, yeah, what would you recommend? What does that look like for our moms? How can we best support them to be
Oh,
empowered?
I am so grateful that you asked that question because this never occurred to me until now, you asking that question. When people ask me, what's the best thing for someone to do, make sure they do before getting married, my answer is heal the inner child. I'm going to
Yeah,
say, what's the best thing for someone to do before giving birth and having children? Heal the inner child. It's the
yeah.
same answer because I've actually even read about postpartum being severe or more severe for women who have a mother wound because it's
Ah,
like them becoming a mother
yeah,
triggers
yeah.
that mother wound.
Yeah, I just
And
got the
so,
chills with that, Amma.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. So the answer, and I'm just so grateful that we're having this conversation because
yeah,
just like I realized that it was the same diet to a certain extent, like for example, it's like, what's the diet for heart health? What's the diet for liver health? What's the diet for hair health? And you keep on seeing the same things. Oh, lots of leafy greens. Oh, walnuts. Oh, you fish, omega 3s. Like it's the same
yeah,
diet. What's the same
yeah,
diet for emotional and spiritual well-being and happy, healthy relationships? Healing that inner child, doing that inner child work,
yeah,
being realizing you're not that 3 year old or 4 year old anymore who used to be disregarded or who would get a spanking, who would get a
yeah.
scream at for
For
speaking your voice
speaking
and
up.
making your
Yeah,
request. You are now an adult. Come into your
yeah,
authority as an adult and say, listen, mom, I love you. And you may not talk to me that way. Mom, I
right.
love you. And I'm not doing what you want to do. I mean, for me, for example, my mom came from that medicalized environment. And so she
Yeah,
wanted me to give birth in her hospital. I wanted a birthing center environment, but I wanted the best of both worlds. So I wanted to be at a hospital that had a birthing center. So I decided to go to this hospital that had a birthing
yeah,
center. My mother's complaining to me, and I can't believe you. And this is so embarrassing. And all the people at my job are going to know my daughter's pregnant, and she's not choosing our hospital. And someone at my job said, I give all my money to Beth Israel by having all my, relatives come here. Look at you, who's letting your daughter go elsewhere. But I said, listen, I want a different experience.
yeah. And it's not
Come
about you,
into
Mom. It's
your
about me. It's my choice, right?
come
Yeah,
into your authority.
yeah,
Come into your authority as a human being. And I'm not saying you disregard your parents. I think the wisdom of the Bible in saying, honor thy mother, thy father is
yeah,
true. But we honor them for what they give us. So like, for example, I love my mom. She gave me sensitivity and empathy. She showed me what unconditional love looks like. She showed me what it means to stand in for another human being and say, this person is my person. Whatever happens to this person is happening to me. But she had a problem speaking up in her marriage. She had a problem speaking up in her relationship. She had a problem with boundaries. She's someone would come to visit from our homeland of Ghana. And I'd say, Mommy, how long is the person staying? And she'd say, I don't know. And I'm like, excuse me, Mommy, you're having someone come to your house to live with you and you don't know how long? How come you haven't asked? Oh, I can't ask that. Maybe they'll think I'm trying to push them away.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
that. So we take the gifts, we take and we
yeah.
alchemize the curses or the negatives, right?
I
We
love
do.
it. The alchemy. Yes, yes,
Let's
yes,
do
yes.
that.
Yeah.
That is so you come into that birthing experience from an empowered authority over your own life. This is your territory. This is your jurisdiction. Of course, you take wise counsel, but you realize at the end of the day, this is your body.
Yeah. And I love that. We really do not only encouraging our clients to heal that inner child, and we also have to heal ourselves as practitioners, right? Like
Yes.
that truly is, I keep telling my clients that our job is not to be the perfect parent. We're not meant to be perfect for our kids.
No.
And whatever we do, I'm going to put that in quotes, do to our kids is there for their learning and their growth. Like if we're all perfect, there's no growing.
True.
And so if we can go and, parenting is a lot of, I'm either going to do exactly what my parents did or I'm going to do the exact opposite of what my parents did, right? So it's reactionary parenting until we actually heal ourselves. And then we can come into it from a conscious level of doing and
Yes.
being in this world. And,
Yes.
and, and that's truly what we need to be doing. And we can only do that if we've done our work. And
Absolutely.
and so we've got to help our clients to see that the way that they empower themselves, the way that they get the birth that they want, is to really look at themselves, look at their inner children. And I
Yes.
am a huge fan of IFS, so Internal Family Systems by Richard
Yes.
Schwartz. His book, No Bad Parts, is
Yes.
incredible. And he does have some exercises in there that you can do yourself to try to process parts of you that are getting activated and understand yourself more because it truly is from this greater understanding of self that we can enter into whatever experience that we're doing, whether it's birth, whether it's working with people in
Yes.
our practices, whether it's interacting with our partners in a relationship.
Yes.
All of that comes through and the different parts of us are getting activated. So we've got to deactivate those parts and help to heal them. And I really do appreciate that is healing that inner child really is the answer for not only ourselves but also our clients for in birth.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
A quote that I really appreciate is what you don't do, you leave for the next generation. And so our
Yes.
goal is to really make sure that we engage in the work so that the next generation comes out lighter and their
Yeah.
souls are able to ascend and they're able to avoid some of the horrors of the prior generation, that they're not
Yeah.
stuck in cycles of trauma repetition, but
Yep.
we are give that is the real inheritance, more so than money. And I love money more so than homes, and I love homes more so than cars, and I love cars. Not that much, but I love cars a
Yeah.
little. The emotional well-being inheritance of healthy, wholesome relationships. I'm glad you brought that up because I am a fan of IFS myself. I have not read much, but I just like put things into AI and they gave me the whole what is it? The roles, like the
Yeah.
mascot, the hero. And I mean, it was like I was crying. I was like, this,
Yeah.
my family fit in so well to the model that I could just read the descriptions to friends and they'd be like, oh, that brother's the this, that's the that,
Yeah.
that's the that. And it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, it's
Yeah.
real. It's real
Yeah.
stuff.
It is. It's so, so good. And so I just think that, I want practitioners to understand that we can best empower our clients to speak their truth, to stand in their power during their birth. And, unfortunately, I have to preface when I'm talking to my pregnant clients, it's like if you really want to have the birth that you want to have, you may have to fight for it in that hospital system. And
Yeah.
you've got to stand up for yourself. And I've had one client that she really did not want to give birth in a hospital, but her partner wasn't okay with her giving birth anywhere else. So she was
Oh,
going to the hospital because of her husband.
partner, yeah.
Yep, because of her heart partner, not because of her.
Oh,
And so I was, I'm like, then let's get you a doula. Let's make sure that
yes.
you've got the support you need, because when our clients walk into that hospital, they're on the hospital's time frame. They are, there's standard operating procedure that happens. And you know what really irritates me, and this is what I'm hearing more and more from my clients, because I tend to see clients that are more outside the system, people
Mm,
that don't want to follow the rules.
sure.
And when you get into that hospital system and you refuse their standard of cares, now you're labeled as a difficult
Mm,
patient.
yeah,
And now you've got attitude coming from the staff
yeah,
because you are going against what the norm is. And
yes,
that's what
yes,
I think is so frustrating for me, is to hear how my clients who don't want to follow the typical procedures,
sure.
who want to have their own autonomy and do it the
Hmm.
way they want to do it, but yet in doing so, they're really getting bullied and
Sure.
they're getting this attitude towards them that is not conducive to a woman feeling safe
Yeah,
and being able to
yeah,
open and let go, which is what needs to
yeah.
happen for birth.
Oh my goodness, that's so powerful. What I really appreciate also about what you said is well, this is how I'm going to interpret what you said. There's always some level of agency. So when
Mm.
you just said that they have a partner and the partner is interested in a hospital birth and doesn't want to go to a birthing center, doesn't want to have a home birth, and that is completely legitimate. Let's be 100% honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes things have gone wrong in home birth. Sometimes you need a medical procedure. Yes, the hospitals may be overly interested in that medicalization. They may be overly interested in C-section. Like I remember this woman saying that in med school, they literally said, they can never blame you if you just section them, just section them, just section them, right? And that's
Yeah.
not necessarily what's best, right? It's wonderful for the
Yeah.
children to go through the birth canal.
Yeah.
They swallow a little of the poop, and that gives them some antibiotics, and they get that rush of oxygen. Like there's so many wonderful things, and I mean, just oh my goodness, even just as a woman, birth magical. I've
Yeah.
only had
It
vaginal births
can
for my
be.
two births. It's a for me, it was a magical experience. But what you said is, even in that, you can say, get a doula. You can potentially bring music. You can potentially do all of these different things. So never give up your agency. Always recognize that you have cause in this matter and that you are co creating your reality. To me, that
Oh,
is huge.
yes, I love that. We are co-creators of our life.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think what's coming up for me is for these clients that do want birth done in their particular way that maybe goes against most standing SOPs of the hospital,
Yes.
is that you can always ask, and we need to let our clients, our pregnant clients know this. They can ask for a different provider. They can ask for a different nurse. If you
Yes.
are feeling the
Animosity,
disdain, the
hostility,
animosity, yes.
condescension, whatever it is.
Yes, if you're feeling that from your labor nurse, you can switch labor nurses and you can call on the charge nurse to
Yes.
call them in and say, hey, this isn't working with this labor nurse. Do you have someone who is more open-minded to
Yes.
working with someone who wants to do things in their own way?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and see what happens with that. But even
Yes.
if that, Ama, is what would you tell your clients that are being treated this way and there is no other option? Like, how do we help our clients who are getting that animosity, that disdain, that, from a provider? How do we stand up for it in that moment?
In that moment. I mean, I think we have voices. God gives us voices for a reason. And I think that, this is from my diversity, equity, inclusion type work that you can, like, someone says something rude to you. Sometimes you can just literally repeat it and the person would be snap back into reality. So someone makes some comment like, oh, surely it can't be in pain. I'm sorry, did you just say surely I can't be in pain? And sometimes the person's like, oh my goodness, I'm over here telling this person what they're experiencing. Like sometimes you literally can just even
I love
repeat what
that.
they're saying and they will snap into reality and say, I'm sorry and I apologize. Many of
Yeah.
these people, my mom was a labor and delivery nurse, 12-hour shifts, 3 days a week, sometimes more. If she did more, it was overtime every other weekend. They're going through a lot
Yeah.
sometimes, and they've been taught in a way which is more factory assembly
Mhm.
line ish than
Yep.
it was back in the day, like when my grandmothers had their kids and someone, an elder woman from the community, came and helped them and gave birth, and it's women in a room. That
Right.
was my grandmother's era. That was my grandmother. That's not our era right now. Okay.
No.
And so they are human beings. We can sometimes literally just repeat what they're saying. And even if something happens where the moment is gone, you can speak to the person respectfully and say, excuse me, nurse so and so, you said blah 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 blah. It didn't sit well with me. You can always speak about this. You can sometimes shift the atmosphere by bringing it to their attention. It may not have been the most conscious, intentional moment. I also would recommend, and I'm grateful that we're out of the COVID era, that you go in with people. There are biases in the medical system.
Yes.
Let's be honest about it. I'm a diversity, equity, and inclusion practitioner. I would be remiss if I came on this podcast and did not talk about the Black maternal health crisis.
Yes.
I just pulled up the
Oh,
stats. In 2024, Black mothers in the US experienced a maternal mortality rate of 44.8 deaths per 100,000 live births, roughly three times higher than white American mothers, and significantly higher than Hispanic and Asian mothers. So this is real. Bias
yeah.
in the system exists. My mother always would tell me, don't go into the hospital alone. Try your best to have
Mm,
family, friends, people around you. Because she
yeah.
said, even as a medical practitioner, there's some extra on guard, a notice you're on when you see that this is a well loved person who has people who are
Yes.
looking out for them.
Oh, I
So
love that.
please come in with, and again, I mean, I wrote Silence is Soaring about healing from chronic silent treatments, toxic relationships, and abuse. I think it's important, even if you're unpartnered, you're not alone. Bring
Yeah.
in those sisters, those cousins, those sister friends, a mother from a church, anybody. There are retired people who would love to assist you. You are the
Yeah.
child of the Most High God. There are 8+ billion people on earth. You
Yes.
can find supporters. Don't go in alone.
Alone. Yeah. I,
Pray on it, get
yeah.
those resources, bring people to the hospital so they know this is someone who's cared for. This is
Yeah.
someone who's loved. There's someone looking out for this person. I would love to say, that my mom told me you can show up looking busted, in bad clothing, smelling, and alone, and you get the same treatment as Princess Diana would. I wish
Right.
I could tell you that, but that's
Yeah.
not the case.
It doesn't happen. Yeah.
There are these biases. There are these
Yeah.
biases, racial bias, socioeconomic bias, lack of family, system,
Yeah.
family support biases. So, and regardless of what it is, you are able to, I'm not saying alleviate all of that, but modulate it through these things, showing up, showing that you're in the presence of your mind, bringing your advocates, bringing your doula, do it all. This is one of the most important times of your life. This is life itself.
Yes. Amen, sister. I love that. I love that. And oh my gosh, it just kills me that the maternal mortality rate is so high for Black women and that, you
It's a
know,
crisis.
it
It's a
is.
crisis.
It is. And what are we going to do about it? And I really feel that our medical system and creating doctors is the root of it. And
Interesting.
and that I hear from labored nurses them hearing residents and them hearing the attendees talking to the residents and going, oh, that person wants to do it naturally. We'll see how long it takes for her to have a C-section or an epidural, or like
Oh,
just the attitude towards
yes.
women who want to do this more empowered.
Yeah.
It's just such a system. It just gets
Yeah.
passed down from attending
Yes.
to resident to student.
A
And
hundred percent.
and that's where the attitude needs to shift. And I'm
A
not sure
hundred
how we
percent.
do that. Um,
100%. I think a part of it is more people speaking up. And again,
yeah,
I know that this is a litigious society. And as I mentioned, part of the reason why they are doing that is they believe that it will shield them to a certain extent of malpractice lawsuits. So
yeah,
again, they have their agenda. I mean, I've experienced this with the medical system all the time. They have their agenda, they have
yeah.
their statistics, but you are your own agenda. And
I
that's
love
why you have to come in.
I love that. I was just going to state that too, that as practitioners, we need to let our clients know that the doctors are coming in from that perspective
Yes.
and they have the statistics based on this percentage of
Yes.
whatever the population was, and you are your own percentage. You are your own statistic. And so it's okay for us to encourage our clients to ask the questions, to question the advice
Yes.
and really think of it as this is their own journey. How is my baby doing? How am I doing? What happens if we wait? I love those questions that we ask or that we can share with our clients so that they can be empowered to say that. And I really also want everyone to remember that in birth, when a woman is laboring, they really should be not thinking. They really should be in a supported environment where they can just go into that reptilian brain that knows how to birth this baby and get this baby out.
Ooh.
And when they come out and have to think, they're walking away from that. They're stepping away
Mhm.
from that. And so it is that support person's job to think, to ask the questions. It's the
Yeah.
doula's job to help support that mom, to help them to stay in that state that is best going to serve the birth itself. And so helping our moms not to have to think so much, having their wishes known well ahead of time in that birth plan. And again, just if they do not feel supported by that labor nurse, they can ask for a new
They can
labor nurse.
switch. They can switch.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
well, now wouldn't be the first, wouldn't be the last, but I'm sure it doesn't even occur to people sometimes.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
know.
glad that you are raising their consciousness that this is something you can do. Hey, and it doesn't have to be in a nasty way. Hey, I'm so grateful. I'm getting great service at this hospital, but me and this nurse, we simply are not aligned for whatever reason. We are
Yeah.
requesting that the nurse be switched. Where
Yeah.
you must be empowered. This is your life.
And
This is
and
your baby.
yeah, and for those of our clients that might be more meek, more well-mannered, I'm going to put it in quotes, because if we're well-mannered, we don't ask for a different nurse, right? Like
That's the thinking.
that's the thinking for these people. And I encourage our clients that are that way to have a tiger in the room, to find
Yeah.
a dual it is that's not afraid to speak up
Yes.
for them, right? To,
Yes.
get to know the partner. And I love when partners come in with my pregnant mamas and I can educate the partner and I can help them. It's like, look, you need to be the tiger in the room. You need to
Yes.
make sure that your partner's wishes are being met.
Yes.
And it's not her job to have to speak up for themselves. That's your job. You're the protector here of this space. And this
Yes.
is sacred space. When we are giving birth, it is sacred space, and medical systems don't always recognize that. So,
That's very, very, very true, and absolutely. I mean, yeah, I just loved it. I just loved giving birth. My first
yeah,
birth, even though
right.
I had an epidural, when they said pull your baby out, I pulled that baby and put that
Oh,
baby on my chest. Oh, magical. So I'm
yes,
wishing all of your listeners, all of the
yes.
moms, all of the practitioners, may they experience and witness just magical sacred births.
I love it. And thank you, Amma, so much for sharing your wisdom with us and
Thank
helping.
you.
I love that just reflect back to the provider what they just said if you don't like what they said. I think that
Yeah,
was gold. I
yeah,
really think that that
it
is
works.
perfect. It
And
does.
how can and
Yeah.
what can they say you did wrong? All you did was repeat what they said. Like it is. And very often, not all the time, the light bulb will go off in their eyes. That was rude. That was wrong. They weren't their
Yeah.
best selves. They were speaking from their, amygdala
Reaction.
and not
Yeah.
their prefrontal cortex or what have you, right? And it'll be
Yeah.
fine. So I'm just so grateful for the opportunity. I pray that your practitioners will check out the book Silence is Soaring and that they'll join our wonderful circles. Every week, we have circles of women providing support, accountability, and mastermind. When women get together every week in community and we ask questions such as, what's showing up for you emotionally this week? So you
Mm,
have that ability to release that. Then we ask, what are you creating? And what did you do this week in order to aid that creation? Because I really believe that healing happens when we step into our power of creation. But many of us have dreams, and without the support of a community saying, what did you do? Did you write any of the pages of that book? Did you go on LinkedIn and connect with anyone about that job? Without that accountability and that
yeah.
mastermind, the dreams really often either don't happen or they take a longer time happening. So I will send you the link to the school community. I hope people will join and they can
Right.
read the book for free there. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share with your community.
Awesome. Thank you, Amma. And we'll have that link in the show notes. So everybody, you can check that out there. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I am all about empowering women, empowering our clients, empowering ourselves to be better so we can do better and we can do birth better. So thank you, everybody, for listening in. And we will see you all in the next episode. Share this episode with those that you feel would benefit from hearing it. And we'll see you all later. Take care, everybody. Bye bye. Today's podcast was brought to you by the Institute for Birth Healing. To discover more, visit instituteforbirthhealing.com. To claim $50 off of any online course, use coupon code PODCAST50 at checkout. Till next time, I'm Lynn Schulte, founder of the Institute for Birth Healing.